Everyone to be seated.
Mr. Nugent.
Hello.
How are you, sir? You're looking very sharp there.
Live.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. We don't have a loaded agenda, but we do have, I'm sure, quite a bit of speaking that will be done this evening. So if I can ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, can I get a motion to open up the April 19th, 2021 Town of Monroe Board meeting?
I will make that motion.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again,
Okay, so moved. Okay, first item on the community announcements agenda is 2021 Clean Sweep. We presently are all set for this Saturday, April 24th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. We will have electronic recycling at the highway garage, and we will have tire disposal and shredding at the location of Clean Sweep, which is at St. Anastasia Church on 17M. So if you know anybody or there's anybody out there on Channel 22 that will be able to attend, I know that our own Pop Warner organization will be sending at least 5 children down with a mom or two, so that would be very helpful. There are some strategic areas we have to clean up. Our highway department will be assisting, as will the village's highway department, and that's both the village of Harriman and the village of Monroe. While we're on that subject, one of the big topics this past week was the Seven Springs garbage and dump that was up in that area. The town highway department, in conjunction with KJ DPW workers, cleaned up the area last Tuesday. Our costs associated with the cleanup and the dumping fees, and when I say our costs, I'm talking about the cost for the equipment and the labor associated with it, was approximately $8,500. The KJ provided us with $1,000, and ironically the next night, and I won't get into details, but the next night there was a court hearing for the property owner who had been issued violations prior to us cleaning it up. He did at that meeting commit to paying for all the costs associated with the cleanup. That's good that taxpayers time of it. Along with the fact that I spoke with one of the DEC officers today, and there were 3 individuals that were ticketed for dumping over on that site, and those fines will be substantial after they go to court. So,
kudos to the decon officer that covers this area. She really, she did a great job. Did an observation, caught the dumpers, and it's great.
Are there cameras up there or no?
there will be cameras up there. I actually when I spoke to her today, they're going to be providing 2, the DEC, and I have 2 new ones that we purchased, and we're going to strategically place them up there. So that's all good.
So moving forward, let's hope that never happens again.
Yeah, well, it already did, but okay. Yeah, Town of Monroe compost facility. So it's going to be opening in May, and it will be open the following dates on Saturdays: the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the compost facility will close after May 26th and reopen again in the fall. It's located on Lakes Road, and it's open to all Village of Harriman, Village of Monroe, and Town of Monroe residents. Anything else I missed? Mr. Sherney? No? We're good. Okay. And essentially, let me just go over this. So they accept leaves, brush. The brush must be tied under 4 feet in length and no larger than 5 inches in diameter. No grass clippings, logs, or wood will be accepted. And there are highway department workers there, so you can't just go in and dump. You will be told that if you bring something that's not on the list, that you cannot leave it there. Constant contact sign up. I urge everyone that's not on our constant contact list to sign up, since we have limited the emails that were going out from our website, which we're still in the process of redesigning. Hey, could one of you guys grab the door? Somebody's looking to get in, please. Thank you. So, if you go on our website, there's a link for you to click on so that you could get into the constant contact, sign up, and just add your email to it, and you'll get somewhere between, I'd say, 2 and 3 a week that come from us. And then there's other ones with announcements for, closure, water leak in this specific area, et cetera. So that's that. Anybody else have anything to add? Anything else to add? No? Okay. Moving on. I'll make a motion to open up the continuation of the public hearing.
Hey, Mr. Supervisor?
Yeah.
You want to let Jen Carrillo speak from the Chamber of Commerce, and then we have Victoria and Matt from the Lake Street Marketplace? Or you want to wait?
Let's get through the public hearing first, and then.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, let's get through that first. So I'll make that's no disrespect. I just want to. We'll be moving along after the public hearing, so which hopefully is 10 to 15 minutes. How many people signed up, Val? 3. Okay. I'll make a motion to open up the continuation of the public hearing for proposed local law A-version 1 amendment to Chapter 57 of the town to regulate rental properties and transient housing.
Second it.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Aye.
Okay, so moved.
Question?
First, what's that?
Real quick. I'm assuming the public hasn't seen the one without the first paragraph in our law, but we will post the correct one up on the webpage, correct?
Yes, the draft will go up on the webpage after this evening.
Okay.
Okay. First speaker,
Kevin Donahue.
Kevin Donahue. How you doing, Kevin?
Great, thank you. Can I take this off?
Yeah, you can take it off, yep. Thank you. Oh, wait, put it back on, please.
Expect nothing less. Wow. So, as you can tell,
There's a vote you just lost.
as most of you are aware, most people in this room know who I am, and they are very well. For those who don't know me, my name is Kevin Donahue. I'm about a 40-year resident of Monroe, graduated Monroe High School, played athletics here, and after a lot of traveling in other places in the world, this is 100% where I wanted to spend the rest of my life. I've been renting a home up in Osseo Park for about 10 years. It's my dream house. I love it to death, and recently I finally became the owner of it.
Well, good for you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been one of the proudest, happiest days of my life. And after a very tough year, COVID, as some of you know, I do have a professional racing career that was starting to turn into a very successful media career as a broadcaster, both on ESPN and some other networks. And that all came crashing down. So last year I had to basically do anything I could to survive and hold on to my opportunity to actually own this home. And when I did, one of the things I wanted to do most, and I was inspired by my neighbor, Camille, who started doing Airbnb. And I got to say, she's probably the gold standard for anybody around here who's done it, because I've watched fabulous guests over the last 10 years to use her property in a very respectful, very responsible way. And that inspired me as like, you know what, I could actually do this myself, use it as a way to, get some extra income and do it in a way where I wouldn't have to worry about my property being trashed or disappointing or being disrespectful to my neighbors. I've been able to start doing it over the last couple of months, and it has been a lifesaver. It is something that is not easy. It is not easy money, what some people may think. It's actually very difficult. I'm the landscaper, I am the maid, I am the host, and one of the best parts of it is I'm also the tour guide. And that is something that Monroe needs very badly right now. The local economy and the restaurants and the businesses are hurting for all the same reasons I just talked about. When people rent long-term, they go to ShopRite, they go to Stop and Shop. Sometimes they go in for a slice of pizza, but when they want to go on vacation, they leave Monroe. Doing short-term rentals is an opportunity for us to bring people to Monroe, to make it a vacation area, to allow us to promote the local community. It is actually one of the most important things as far as your rating, whether it's VRBO or Airbnb, that you have to promote the local businesses. You have to guide and point your guests in the right direction so they could very easily go into town and find a great place to eat, find a good place to shop, find some place to take their kids, being able to go to Fitzgerald Falls, maybe take them to Museum Village, or going for a nice dinner at the Captain's Table or Scalia's, or even going to town and getting a little candy down there on Main Street. So it's a fabulous opportunity for the town to collaborate with the responsible people that are doing this. Now, I know there's a reason why we're here talking about this, and I know that it's not a good reason. And there are people that will go out there and abuse this. But I'm telling you, this is very hard to do, and if you do it correctly, this is a way for us to really inject money and people that are coming into the vacation area that are going to Legoland, but you know what? They're gonna stay in Monroe. And instead of going in Goshen, instead of going in Chester, or going over to Warwick, we could keep them here spending their dollars in Monroe. It's been, I had an opportunity to talk to Jen, and I think it'd be a fabulous way for us to be able to work with the local Chamber of Commerce, not so much that it could promote us, because we do pretty well on our own, but for us to connect with the Chamber, and for them to send us and give us information so that when our guest comes into our house, into our homes, which we actually have to leave during that period of time, we could give them all the information. Hey, here are places to eat. These are places you could use recreationally. Go out in the ponds of Monroe. These are places you're gonna see and places you could spend your money. It's a very positive thing for the community, which could turn, again, this whole area between the Woodbury Commons and Legolands and other places is changed from a place where, commuting New Yorkers, police officers, firemen, and other municipal workers from the city came to live. This is turning into kind of a vacation area where people are coming and using it as a destination. And the short-term rental part of that is a very big part of it, in a way for us not only to support the community, but for the community to help support us.
Thank you.
I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know there's a lot of other people here, things to say, but thanks very much. Again, it's my first time doing this, and I really appreciate the floor, so thank you.
Very, very well spoken, Kevin. I've always been impressed by you, but even more so now with the way you spoke this evening. Thank you.
Even after the insults?
Especially
Always,
because of the insults.
Always.
And again, one of the reasons it's so comfortable to be here is because the leadership that we have in town now is the best I've seen in the 40 years I've lived here. I heard you on the radio the other day talking about how we collaborate with other towns and the issue you talked about before with the dumping. I just think it's incredible how not only you do so much good in the community, you and everyone else, but how we were able to collaborate with the other towns and help each other out. And that's kind of what the spirit of what I was talking about today. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin, much
Have a good
appreciated.
evening.
Thank you.
Next speaker. Just so everyone knows, the board will comment after everyone speaks.
El Tokarud?
But you're going to have to stop. Thank you, Camille.
Hi, I'm Camille Tokrud. I've been here before, so thanks for hearing me again.
I read the draft. It was much lengthier than I expected, and I'm not a lawyer, so it took me a lot longer to read it, and I'm still reading it and rereading it, going, what? What? So,
Just
thank you for your
remember,
patience.
it's a draft.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't want to pick together the pieces. I read some of the other thoughts about it, and I wanted just to show you my personal thing, what would really affect me and my home. That's why I showed you the pictures. You know, my house was designed, and we bought it, and we kept it in the same vein. It was in the oak forest, and it was like a camp, and it was an escape for a family. So when we started renting it, I kept it the same way, and I've always rented it to mostly families, but they're 2- and 3-generational families. So maybe grandfather rents it, and his daughter and son stay in one of my bunkhouses, and the other kids stay in the bunkhouse. So I have 3 cabins, right? So I showed you in the pictures. So it doesn't make sense if you just looked at my house and said, it's a 3-bedroom, you can have 6 people in your house. It wouldn't have any flow then, it wouldn't function, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And a lot of my renters are repeat renters, and they come back every year as families, so they would be very sad too. So hopefully that wouldn't be the case, because I do have the septic, and I do have everything to code, and great ratings and all that other stuff. So I'd like to be able to keep using it the way it's designed to use, and it was built to make, to run that way. Small other points, I think the comment about the fence would be kind of crazy for a lot of people, including myself, because I live in the forest. And the house next to me, he clear cut like an acre, but to cover a fence high enough to hide his house would be like a 60-foot high fence, so it wouldn't make any sense. But he's quite far away anyway. But that being said, I just think that should be not such a blanketed thing that you just have to have a fence. I also was a little bit surprised on the cameras, only because me being a photographer, I do like cameras, but I don't really like them. I feel like it was a little bit of invasion of privacy. But that's just the way I feel about that. The other things I wanted to say were, my kids and I have 2 boys. I think I've mentioned that before. We've talked about one day all of us living here and us trying to get another home one time. So I was kind of surprised when I read that you wouldn't be able to get us another home and do short-term rental with a 3-year waiting period. For somebody like myself that's been doing it already and doing it very successfully, it's being a win-win for the community, I think, as well as myself. I don't know why I would have to wait 3 years if we were ever in the opportunity of finding another home that would make sense to do short-term rental until one of my sons could own the house. So I would like that to be thought of. I'm not quite sure what the waiting period is. If you wanted to keep somebody like myself or my sons in Monroe, rather than have us get a second home, if one of them wanted to do this in Chester or Warwick or something else, why couldn't it be here in Monroe? I'm not saying we can do that, but we were starting to have the conversations last year about the idea of them both being able to have a house here one day. So, and we would probably have to do the short-term rental in the interim of them living here. So I would like that to be thought about a little further, like why would you have to wait? If you never had a history of being a problem person, why are you waiting? And then also, I guess the last thing is the timeline. When I read it, it seemed kind of severe of how fast you had to have everything maybe to code, because I frankly don't think everybody even knows about this. That's why my neighbor, Kevin, didn't even know that this was existing. So you'd almost be breaking the rules and being stopped and banned from doing it before you even got off the start. So I just think the timeline needs to be looked at and possibly slowed down a little bit. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Camille.
Okay.
Dyer Halpern.
How you doing, Dyer?
Hey, hello everyone. Thanks for having me. I'll take off my mask despite what's under it, so I appreciate it. Good evening, Ilya, my business partner's here as well. It's good to see everyone. We had a chance to look at the draft. Appreciate all the work that went into it. Echo what Kevin and Camille said. The collaborative process here is heartwarming, dare I say, just what you see everywhere else, to be able to work with a government that really takes your opinion and seems to value it a lot really means a whole heck of a lot. We submitted a lot of our comments in writing, so I won't go over them here. I think a lot of what was said is pretty on point, especially giving some time to comply after the passage of the law, especially with getting a building inspection. I think some of the language cut things off pretty immediately, so we wouldn't even have a chance to comply. But everything else was in writing, so as I said, I won't repeat it. I just want to, keep the dialogue going, and we very much look forward to doing that. And we're around too to answer any questions, kind of being in the business, in the industry, that we can, that might help the process along. So that's it for today, but thank you all again.
Thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Public comment.
No? Okay, Mike, you mind if I go first here?
No, go knock yourself out, Mr. Supervisor.
So, Mike, myself, and Mr. Nugent this afternoon had a conference call with our planner regarding a lot of what went into this originally in the draft. Dyer and Ilya had sent us their breakdown of what they thought, and they actually mentioned your home specifically, Camille, with respect to the bunk beds. So, we will be definitely making some adjustments to it. We're going to keep open the public hearing till probably, I'd say, maybe the end of May, so we can, fine tune everything. Mary actually did catch something in there with respect to the sewer portion of it, where we were going to repeal, and you can't repeal that in this law. This law essentially has to deal just with transient housing and rentals. How many bedrooms does your house have? Yeah. Camille?
Mine is 3 bedrooms. If you count the cabins as bedrooms, again, my house is not a traditional bedroom house.
Right. And does that include the 1 bedroom that has the bunks in it?
The main house has 1 bedroom, and then I have 2 attached cabins by a deck. So one of the cabins has 4 beds as the bunk beds, and the other one has 2 beds.
Okay.
Queen and a single, so that's why one family usually stays in one stays in the other, and maybe the grandparents in my house, so, yeah.
Okay. And then,
Allowances for,
and then, just so you understand, so the cameras on the outside are, we're not looking for cameras inside. We're just looking for camera on the outside, 1 or 2, possibly 2, depending on how it pans out. Because when you have people coming from different areas, there might be an instance that you could possibly be protected if they claim they fell on your property, but they didn't. It'll also make our residents that are surrounding the area, I think, a little more comfortable that there is some security there with respect to the cameras. I know that this board is steadfast in the fact that there's got to be at least 1 camera there, possibly 2. And I just think that puts everyone at ease on both sides of it. So.
Egress and ingress of the property, like people coming and going, is that what the camera would be showing?
It would probably show the front area, and if there was a back area of the house, like the entrance, and maybe a portion of the yard. I'm not saying you have to have it on your fire pit if you have a fire pit, or on your deck. That's up to you. I'm just saying that, yeah, definitely coming in to possibly catch a license plate, somebody's face associated with it. I know.
Safety purposes.
Yeah. So, it's more for safety purposes.
Can I ask say one more thing?
Sure.
I was also concerned when I think I read that the person of contact, if it was I would like it to be myself, because it's always been myself, but you have to live within 2 or 1 hour, it says, away, or so many miles. I was thinking that it still should be you if you're the one that's responsible, even if you're right outside of that timeline, because I'm like an hour and a half away. So if it should still be me, and obviously I have local people that help me. So if I couldn't get here, I'd still like the phone call to come to me. And if I couldn't get here in a manner of time, if there was ever an issue of something and I need to be out, then of course I would send somebody else on my account. But I feel like I'm the one that is responsible, so I should be the contact person rather than putting a closer local person down.
yeah, Camille, I think the way we're looking at that would be the contact person or their designee and basically that's for emergency instances, complaints where the owner needs to be on the scene for something more than just, that can be handled the next day or a couple of days later. You know what I mean?
That makes
What we're
sense.
trying to eliminate is the absentee landlord thing where you can't get in contact with the person, they're not responding, or they're saying, oh, I'm in Brooklyn and I can't make it there. You know what I mean? And that's what we don't want to happen.
Yeah,
And that's not,
I would think that
anyone
I'm
lives in Brooklyn,
responsible.
don't take it the wrong way,
Right.
but we don't want, if it's something, especially where, the police have responded, because again, when we, and Tony, I'm not cutting into your time
No,
here.
go ahead. No,
but,
I was done.
with all these things, we look at, you and you guys, and you're like you said, the gold standard of how this should go. But not everybody's the gold standard, and we got to think about the bad actors, and that's really, the bad actors is what caused us to look
Started
at this
this.
law,
No, I
right?
understand that.
So we have to be fair, and we got to kind of, play it down the middle and do what we can to, eliminate those bad actors or them being, property owners and holding disorderly groups and bachelor parties and unsupervised youths and all the things that cause us to kind of to examine this law. And, the cameras are, they're not for us, they're for you as the property owner to really, to monitor outside what you're, listen, you want to put them inside the house, that's your house and that's up to you. But you know what? It's for outside, so if we get a complaint and someone says, yeah, at 3 o'clock in the morning, they were out there and they were raising hell and, shooting guns or throwing bottles or whatever the hell it is, then you can, go your DVR and look and see, what was actually going on. You know what I mean? And it gives you a little bit of defense in case you have a neighbor that doesn't like you. And it gives you also, something for us so we can investigate it and make sure that it's not something that's going to be a recurring problem for, again, those bad actors.
No, I
Because
get that. I get that.
just to add to that, so what could happen is, let's say there was something that was damaged, and maybe there was some sort of, crime that was committed also. Police became involved, we can actually call you and say, hey, listen, could you pull up the footage from the camera from 3 days ago? Like, if you get a simple Ring camera, Ely, you guys have Ring? Okay, so if you get a simple Ring camera, I
Ring.
think the data stays on it for 30 days, so, it's helpful.
Yeah, it's not a deal breaker for me. If it's regulated, then I'll just do it. I know my neighbor has a camera. I just always thought, why do you have a camera? I never feel very
Well, your
secure
sister
then.
doesn't want you to come to the house, so she's preparing for when you show, right?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, thank you.
Well, that stopped that.
Thank you very much, Camille. Anybody else?
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Nugent. The first paragraph, we are no longer revoking chapters 41 and 42, but it says establishing a new chapter 41. That has to be changed because we're not repealing that yet. There's a chance we could pass this law before those other 2 chapters are repealed.
There's a chance that could happen. I mean, we can either just leave it blank right now and the number is really clerical, so we can change that at any time without it being an issue in terms of filing. But before we finalize it, we'll have to decide if the board plans to repeal 41 and 42, then, we can rename it, but we don't have to. There could be a 40A, we can get around that.
Thank you.
Just one last thing, Kevin, just to address some of your remarks there. Listen, we support, we want visitors to come into town. We know that the Airbnbs tend to bring in a good clientele that do look to do things local. I was at Apex this past weekend, the brewery down in town, not that I'm plugging anybody, but, I saw a lot of new faces there and, people that weren't from town, and that was great. And that's what we want to see, across the board. So we're aligned, this board, with that type of, what we want to see, that regular tourism, ecotourism, whatever it is that brings people here, and we strongly support that, and we're of the same mindset. I think all of us here on this board.
No doubt about it.
And
I mean, I'll speak loud for my I didn't come here today out of fear, oh my God, this is going to be, taken away. I'm like, all right, there's an opportunity to really work with the town board.
It's going to be a while. Just step up to the mic. Otherwise, George will yell at us.
I was going to say, this is a great opportunity, not because I was afraid, but to come into the town board. actually more excited to be like, this is a great opportunity to actually break some new ground that other towns weren't willing to do because they went nuclear on the idea before they even had an opportunity to look deep into it. It's almost kind of like having you're defending against one play that's like kind of the aberration, and then you're ruining the opportunity for a lot of other good to come out of it.
Yeah, and believe me, when we first looked at this law, our first inclination, because of some of these bad actors, as I said, was to just, hey, let's ban it all. But then, calmer and wiser heads and people spoke up, and we realized, hey, this is something
opened
that's,
our eyes.
I'm going to tell you that not only Camille, but, Dyer and Ilya, they're the reason I think this board switched gears on this. Without a doubt, because of their professionalism and the way they present themselves, and you added to the group is just, another notch on that side of the,
Kevin, you're like the cherry on the cake.
Yeah. Hey,
Is
just
that a plug for the candy shop?
No.
out of curiosity.
Sure.
How long have you been renting?
A few months.
And what do you think is the amount of evenings or days that you've rented it?
I've rented 13 times. I have 12 reviews. Not to brag or anything, but they're all 5-star ratings, and that's the highest you could get. And one of the biggest things that I was rated on was my ability to give local tips. So that's sending people out into the community where they didn't have to try to figure things out or go on Yelp and find a review. I would send them detailed lists of all the places in town they could eat, places they could go, asking them about, and it's mostly couples with children, so either like a couple without children, maybe a dog, or one couple with like one child, because they have a very small place. And they needed to know where can I take my 6-year-old on a hike and then to take him for ice cream afterwards, or get a good lunch where he could get chicken fingers. Or if we're just a regular couple, where can we go out to get a good Italian meal? Lots of things like that, and that's actually why I've been rated so high, was giving those local tips and kind of acting as the tour guide. Because I love the town, I could live anywhere.
Listen,
and this is where I want to be 100%.
It's basic customer service.
Yeah.
And people do not realize how much that simple act and a thank you, a sincere thank you at the end of everything goes a long way.
Another great way.
I know that Jenny understands it, and she knows that I understand it, so.
Another great way for the Chamber of Commerce and the town to actually monitor what's going on is having approved Airbnbs with the Commerce, right? And then you're able to go on there, and you could look at all the reviews you're getting, and you could see if somebody gets slammed, you're going to see why they got slammed. You could call them out on it, and you could see the people that are doing it real well. And maybe there's some gaps. Maybe there's something that could have been pumped in the community that was being neglected, and say, hey, let's. You're leaving out like Village Hands or one of these other places. Let's start talking about them more and give people opportunity to go there.
We're well aware, I think, of most of what you said. But
one of the things I was actually a little afraid about before I came in was some of the language Camille brought to my attention was about how long you actually had to own a place. Now, granted, I've been lived in Monroe for 4 decades, and I lived in the same house for 10 years, but I just bought it. So under those guidelines of having a statute of longevity in a place, that would completely eliminate someone like me, who's lived here for a long time, but just actually got on paper.
One of the reasons for that is that
I get it.
Well, amongst other reasons, but one of the things is because, when you look at the town code, everything interacts with other sections of the code, and one of the sections of the code has to deal with bed and breakfasts and hotels, and what we in our law what we deem to be a short-term rental is anything that is someone staying there less than 29 days, and that there is a full-time owner that has owned it for X amount of time. But we know, and that was part of our conversation with Mr. Nugent and our planner tonight to try to figure out ways to mitigate that. And we know about that and expect to address it in a
part of the reason
good way,
Yeah, part of the reason I ever went to any of that stuff is I really I don't understand the current way things are set up. So like, I wasn't even gonna try to argue any of that or even get
Yeah.
into that, like, quite ignorant to it, actually.
Kevin,
Just it
if you-
conflicts with other sections of
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
town law that we have to kind of reconcile and make sure that it's got to be consistent, because if someone else on the other side wants to bring suit, and we want to pay Mr. Nugent a lot of money to litigate it, which we don't, which, you know, and he
My
doesn't
faith-
either, believe it or not. We want to make sure that we're kind of covering our bases on both ends. That's what it comes down to.
My faith in you all to do what's best for everybody is 100% complete. It was just important for me tonight to come and give my side of it, so you could kind of get an idea of who the people in town that are actually doing this, and kind of put a face to the issue.
Yeah.
All right, I just
Well,
wanna-
it's been great meeting everyone here.
do you have a question for him?
Go first.
Mary? Oh, okay. I just want to move it along, Kevin. Camille, how many nights a year do you rent? Because I know you've been renting for a number of years. Estimate, you know.
How many nights? Most people, a lot of times it's on the weekends, so,
Talking 100, 150?
100 probably.
Okay.
100. This is the first year actually that I've rented year-round. I used to not stay open in the winter, but because of COVID and my other photography career, like everybody has their story, I had the need to stay open, so I winterized some stuff and stayed open for the winter. So it's different, and I have, again, I was just telling them, 2 of the families that came last year, and one happens to work at the CDC, you know, she's one of the head people. They're coming back both for 2 or 3 weeks apiece, these 2 families
Okay.
that came last year. I don't know if that will always continue. I used to be sort of a weekend thing and less. Now people are coming to Monroe more and more often, so I don't really know.
All right, thank you. Dyer, Ilya, do you have any idea? Yeah, pretty much. If you know what, I'm sorry, just come up to the mic.
It's seasonal to an extent, so most of the summer, and then mostly weekends when you get to the outer months, you know. So I think probably 200 would be where you would end up, but it tends to be week. You know, that's not a lot of actual guests. It's in the summer, it's almost all weeks, which is good because they kind of, you know, plant themselves and you get to know them, and then, as Camille was saying, they come back. We've already had repeat visitors. Now they're from Pittsburgh, but that's okay. We're very open to.
All right, thank you.
As long as they're not Steeler fans, we'll let them stay, you know? Hey, just by a quick show of hands, how many of you spend more than 30 days a year in your residence or your Airbnb? Yeah, all right. That's good to know, because that's kind of dovetails into our current existing law. Well, I know you live there, but I mean, just trying to get a feel for it, that's all.
Mary, go ahead.
Application fees.
Sorry about that, Mayor.
That's okay. Application fees. I know we have a separate thing, but I didn't see anything in this draft version.
We haven't settled on that yet.
Right.
We will settle that with the board, but Max is actually working on the actual application right now. So your questions in relation to the other draft, he's going to be doing all the applications, and Mike and I have kind of talked about fees, but we want to run them by the board first.
I just wanted to make sure it's permissible, because I didn't see anything in here that said, usually it says something like, you know, the town board to allow.
Be on the fee schedule.
Application fee.
I mean, you could put it on the fee schedule, or you could say, you know,
Okay.
the fee to be received in accordance with the fee schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you being here tonight. Okay, I'd like to ask Jenny to come up.
Want to make a motion to
Jenny,
close the
close.
hearing?
Oh, yeah.
We'll continue.
You come up, Jenny, and then I'll make a motion to keep the public hearing open for rental properties and transient housing on May 3rd, 2021 at 7 PM or immediately thereafter.
Second.
Call the question.
Ingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Oh, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Thank you. Sorry, Jenny. So Jenny Carrillo is here on behalf of the chamber.
Yes.
Sal, you do the introduction, because you're the guy that,
Well, I think Jen is officially the president of the chamber, or not yet?
Coming in June.
All right, so
All right,
Jen will be our
congratulations.
new chamber president.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So, first I want to thank you all for a few minutes of public dialogue, and I really want to thank you all for agreeing each month to discuss the temperature, if you will, of our members of our local business community. And I see this as the first of groundbreaking tradition that'll develop communication between our local government and its business community. I think it'll help solidify a deeper foundation into the growth of Monroe. And I look forward to being here.
Thank you.
We have a diverse business community that spreads over the boundaries of Monroe into Greenwood Lake, Blooming Grove, Chester, and more. The Greater Monroe Chamber of Commerce currently has 105 current and active members, and we are adding new members every month with the help of our membership director, Cheryl Cohen, who is with the Orange County Chamber of Commerce for 15 years. In February, just for your information, we added 6 new members. In March, we added 6 new members. In April, we added 3 new members. Currently, we have 13 board members. As I discussed, Edison Guzman, he is the owner of Prosperity Marketing in Chester, New York, and he's the current president, but he will be stepping down the end of May, and I'll be taking his place. Tyler Sloboda, who is the owner of Java Joe's in Monroe, he is currently our vice president and will continue to do so through his term. Mary Duffy is our secretary, and she is the assistant director for the Monroe Free Library. Susan Roth is our treasurer, and she is of the Hudson Valley Planning and Preservation. Michael Lydier, owner of Mill Pond Holdings. Charlie Pacula, who is a true hero and is active in so many parts of our community and whose resume is way too long to list here. Nancy Wolf is an advocate for veterans. Paul Campanella, business consultant and founder for the GMCOC. Stephen Kelmus of Marshall and Sterling Insurance and founding board member. And David Wenger, owner of Empire Diner. And we also have 2 new board members that we just put on. Jared Lean, who's owner of Socialtopia Monroe, and Vernick Alvarez, very impressive in Harriman, New York.
Sounds like a strong board to me.
Yeah, we really work very well together. Everybody is very inspired and motivated to do good in the community and keep things moving forward, and there's no bad ideas in our group. Everybody kind of takes their own wheelhouse and makes it work. So why should you pay attention to the chamber speaking about local businesses, right? It's a great question, and in recent decades, the country has seen tremendous growth in its biggest corporations. Yet, a growing body of research is proving something that many people already know, that small-scale, locally owned businesses create communities that are A, more prosperous, entrepreneurial, connected, and generally better off across a wide range of metrics. And I'm sure you already know this because you guys have been moving forward in this direction already on your own. Statistical findings are putting numbers to the harms of bigness and the benefits of local ownership. Policymakers like yourselves can use those findings to craft better laws, business owners can use them to rally support, and people can use them to organize their communities. By supporting local businesses, you're in turn supporting your local economy, significantly supporting more money stays in a community when purchases are made locally owned rather than nationally owned businesses. Local businesses are more likely to use other local businesses such as banks and service providers and farms. So for every $100, and I'm sure you've heard this statistic, but for every $100, $68 stay in a community. That's powerful funding, powerful. That rate of return to me as a business owner is extraordinary, okay? For me, I want to invest in that, and I know you guys do too. So, as you know, independent retailers return a lot more to the community. We're your neighbors. We care about, we invest in the well-being of your community. We're accountable, which is huge. You can reach out and make a phone call and tell us to fix something that's broken. So we appreciate you guys working with us. We really look forward to a long-term relationship. We really look forward to showing up every month and, as I said, giving you the temperature of what's going on in your community. And we're at your service.
Thank you very much, and thanks for stepping up as
Absolutely.
president going forward.
Thank
So.
you.
And look forward to working with you. We all do. This is going to be great. It's exciting times in Monroe for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I brought you some masks.
Ooh. Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you. Give two to Tony, he could use
Can I
it.
put it on right now? Thank you.
thank you, John.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And Mr. Sancarello, you said exciting times, positive exciting
Yes.
times.
Yes,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, exciting is the wrong word.
Lots of good things coming down the pike.
Sal, would you like to introduce?
Speaking of positive, so a year ago, outdoor dining, we're sitting outside, and we had a vision to create a indoor marketplace, so to speak, with some vendors, and putting this on Lake Street was going to be a challenge, but the building that we eventually came available fell into the right hands about 2 weeks ago, and Victoria and Matt, why don't you guys come up and discuss the incredible Lake Street marketplace that is halfway sold out, I believe, in vendors already?
Getting there.
So I'd like to introduce Victoria and Matt, who are taking ownership of the
Thank you.
Lake Street Marketplace, 13 Lake Street in Monroe.
Very
Do
nice.
do you have those? I think it might be wise to hand them to.
Yeah,
So we're just handing out a couple renderings, a pamphlet that we put together for the local businesses who met with us on Saturday, and I think there's a floor plan for you
Yes.
guys up there.
Can you just speak into the
Oh,
mic? Yeah.
Sorry. So just as an introduction to the Lake Street Marketplace, we've been working with Sal for probably 4 months now, trying to nail down what we think the best idea for Monroe would be and how many businesses we could include. So the design we've come up with can fit up to 23 small businesses. In December, from October through December, and then again in March, we had the opportunity to take part in the marketplace at Sacred Heart. And we got to meet a lot of small businesses and local vendors. And we really saw a need for these people to be able to have a brick and mortar in Monroe, where people are coming to shop every day. So we did this floor plan that you guys can see in front of you, and each business has about 100 square feet, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot more than they have right now, and it's just enough that they can get their brick and mortar started and really grow. So with this opportunity, we give Monroe the opportunity to have variety. We're trying to foster a community of small businesses here that really want to grow together. So our goal is to have the stability of some permanent vendors who will be there for a year or more, so that people can get comfortable coming to these places and they can rely on them. And so far, everyone who signed up wants to be there for a year. Woohoo! Yeah, it's great news. But that being said, we do want to keep some open for pop-ups. We want to keep the element of surprise. So when people come in there, it's not stagnant, and they get to see something new every time they're there. So there are some that we've set aside for rotating businesses. That'll give them an opportunity to come in with less of a commitment. They'll get the opportunity to try a brick and mortar, and hopefully they'll want to stay. So as businesses grow and outgrow our small 100 square feet, we get new businesses in who tried it with us as a pop-up, and they can stay for a year. As it stands right now, we've done a survey with the local businesses that we've spoken with to see what days would be best for them, because most of them, this is their second job. It's a dream that it would be their full-time job, but right now they have to stick with part-time. So that being said, we've come up with Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the days that they see working for them. As we grow, if it becomes more popular and they're making more money from it, hopefully we can expand our days and our hours. But as it stands right now, it'll be a weekend event. We're going to take advantage of the outdoor dining on Lake Street, so our hours will shift a little in the summer to allow families who are coming to dinner an opportunity to take the kids to do something else, or couples to go shopping, so they can go to the movies, they can get dinner, and they can walk around for a little while without having to go home right away. Our goal is to use local attractions to draw more people in. We're right on the Heritage Trail with the location that we're working on right now, so that'll be a draw for people who are coming up from the city. They'll park, they'll walk the Heritage Trail or bike the Heritage Trail, need somewhere to stop for lunch, grab something at Love Bites, come over, do a little shopping, and then go home. So hopefully this will pull more people into the community for more positive reasons.
No, it's just as far as everything. So Victoria and I were initially moderately interested in taking this over as a venture to really help the community. Although after talking with Sal and Neil and Tony and a lot of you other folks, we're seeing everything else that's going on with Monroe, and especially with the attention to detail with the Heritage Trail and everything else going on, not just within Monroe, but in the entire county, everything going from Harriman all the way out to Goshen. And we really wanted to jump on board with this. So to be completely honest, Victoria and I were almost on the fence as far as loving Monroe, maybe try to live somewhere else. But seeing everything that's going on, we want to stay. And we think that this is going to be a huge positive anchor point for the community. And as Victoria was saying, it's a great opportunity for a lot of these small businesses to either stay with us permanently, which would be great, but if not to
You could just bring the mic closer to you. Sorry.
Sorry, but maybe stay with us permanently, which would be great, but also be able to use us as a stepping stone to further their business, to really branch out and build Monroe up to be a lot better than some of our other neighboring towns that people like to go to, like Sugarloaf or Warwick. But we can be better than them. There's no reason why we can't. We have it. So
we had an open house on Saturday, and from 1 to 4, and we had probably 40, 45 people show up. We had 10 people sign up already to be permanent vendors. So the excitement is incredible. It really is.
It's amazing.
And it's all based on the Sacred Heart events were a test to see what kind of interest we would draw. And both of those events were phenomenal. They were well attended. They were great. So a lot of those vendors we became friendly with, and here they are now signing up, in their own brick and mortar spaces on Lake Street, which is, everything we could ever dreamed for here. It's great.
And those two events were tests of concept for the area as far as whether or not it'd be successful, and it really will. But this whole idea that we're doing as far as bringing the whole outside small town street feel inside isn't new. We're not inventing the wheel here. I mean, as far as Sal was saying, it was something that they've been thinking about. Previous to this, I was working down in the city right by Chelsea Market, and that place was slammed. And it's the same thing, larger scale, obviously. It's right in the city. But it works. It's all over the place. It's in the city, down in New York City. There's a handful of other areas around here. Ours will be better. But
without a doubt.
But
Shameless.
also all over the country and all over the world. It's not a new idea. It really does work.
It's common, and we need it. We're excited. It's as good for all the small businesses as it will be for our town.
Very exciting.
Thank you very much. When do you anticipate opening?
By the end of June, hopefully.
Good.
Yeah, we're aiming for Father's Day.
We're aiming for Father's Day for a grand opening. Hopefully we'll be ready for a soft opening the weekend before, so some of these small businesses can work out their kinks. But
Great. Awesome.
Monthly newsletter,
Yeah.
Lake Street Marketplace newsletter that'll come out.
If you go to our website, you can sign up. We'll get a monthly newsletter going once we have all the businesses.
And you do have a Facebook page.
We do have a Facebook page and an Instagram. It is becoming more populated. Our Facebook page
By
is
the
doing
day.
very well. We are going to be marketing the permanent businesses as well as all of the rotating businesses. So if you're signed up for the newsletter, you'll know who's going to be there for the month and when they're going to be there. So if you've got a favorite vendor you have, then you can pop in when they're there.
one of the other things that we're looking to put together is a welcome package. I don't know, did you talk about that?
Oh, I didn't.
Sorry, I was counting. I wasn't paying 100% attention.
That's why you're a great team. You're picking up right on it. Beautiful.
We might not have it all together, but together we have it all, as they say. But so we're looking to put together a new homeowners package. So we're trying to get a series of documents together to be able to hand out to the real estate agents in the area, and which would be great for you guys as well. So when people are coming into the town, it will have a whole breakout list as far as what businesses are around, what businesses we have here. We're trying to see how this all works out initially, and then to be able to hand out some form of coupon type thing. So people would have that much more of a draw to be able to come in here.
We want to be able to introduce our new neighbors to our community a little more seamlessly. I remember, I grew up in this town, but when we bought our house, it took us almost a year to meet our neighbors. So,
It's a quiet street, though, so, that's part of why we loved it so much, but still, all the more reason.
but we
And-
want to invite people out a little
I'm
more.
sure you could work with the chamber, in conjunction with the chamber on something like that, too.
Okay, thank
There used to be the welcome wagon here.
It'd be ideal.
And it was, listen, when I had my business, it was a great.
Yeah, and I'm not originally from Monroe, so, we've been together for over 13 years. I feel like I'm from here, but I'm still finding new stuff as just being here, just bumping around and talking to Sal and a lot of you other folks. But it'd be great to just have the one-stop shop. We know where everything is. We know what it's all about.
Thank you
It'll be
very
great.
much.
Thanks
I'm
for-
excited for you guys, I really
Yeah.
am.
Anybody have any questions?
I had a question about the shared services. You had one example. So 4 businesses, so to speak, can take a rental and they share, so they just rotate through.
Right, so the idea would be that they would sign up with us, and we would set a schedule for them. So if one unit would be good for up to 4 businesses, and we would then give them each a week in the month that would be their week. So the first business would have week 1 every single month. So their customers would understand their schedule, and they could meet them there every month that week.
That would also make it easier for a young starting business to say, hey, I don't have a large expense, I'm sharing it, and
Yeah.
I'm getting the publicity and the notice out with the public. I think that's great.
Thank you.
This is
Fresh
this is,
also, it's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll constantly be new vendors
Yeah.
rotating in and out. And, obviously some of the same, there'll be staples there, but new businesses coming in and out will be welcome as well.
And it freshens up the traffic.
This is going to work out extremely well with the B&Bs. But also, see, what you have to also understand is that since we're right next to Woodbury Commons Shopping Center, it's one of the most visited tourist destinations in the state. So you're going to have more people staying at the B&B, and they're going to want things that they don't see over there. That's why they're going to shop local. And this concept brings people in, and they see the other stores as well outside. It's not going to be just one and done. It's going to be walking through there, walking around, seeing what this town has to offer. I think it's a great concept, great idea.
Thank you.
I've spoken to Amanda Dana a few times with the Orange County Tourism, and she's ready to promote it for you guys as well. She's very excited about it.
We're really excited. It's going to be,
I could tell.
we're not happy at all.
Okay, thanks for coming down tonight.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep us updated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Matt, would you have an extra copy that I could have? Thank you.
I have an extra copy.
Okay, two quick items, then I'll get to you, Maureen. General fund abstract. Total claims are $794,424.83. And once I get my printing happen. Back page 51. That's it, yep. Okay, so it's abstract number 21-07 for $794,424.83. So we need approval on, to pay those checks.
I'll make that, Kelowna make the motion?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Sankarello. Call the question.
Bingham,
Good night,
aye.
guys. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you very much. All right.
There we go. Love it, love it.
That's great.
Great.
Call the question.
Yep. Bingham, aye.
Kelowna, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. Approval of the April 5th, 2021 minutes.
I will make that motion.
Bingham to second.
Any changes, alterations, corrections? No. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All right.
Cardone, aye.
Stankarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. All right, next up, we have a resident concern, Maureen Cassard, who lives in Round Lake Park. You're on Tafanic? Okay.
Okay. I have visuals.
Visual? Probably nothing I haven't seen.
You all may remember me from March of 2019.
Yes.
I came here and gave you a packet of pictures that my neighbor is operating a business out of his house. It has to do with ATVs, car repair.
Bring the mic next to you so it's easy.
Let me take this off. When we had that meeting 2 years ago, he was cited. He did minor cleanup, but it's back again. I also mentioned when I was here 2 years ago that he has regraded the area in order to accommodate the motor vehicles that he's storing on his property. And I was concerned that it was going to impact my drainage. And it did. And I had to put in French drains, costing me $5,000. Otherwise, I would not be able to use my backyard. As you can see from those pictures, I don't have a very nice view from my backyard. As I said, he has excessive litter, small machinery, automotive parts, tires. He is operating a business illegally. It's a residentially zoned area. We have revving motors all times during the day and into the night. And then his clientele zoom off after they've purchased or they're trying out a vehicle, that they're going through the streets at a very unsafe speed and also a very loud noise. I'm frustrated.
Can you be specific as to what you feel he's conducting as a business there?
Well, I have seen on Craigslist where he is selling vehicles, mostly ATVs. He keeps a lot of junk that he uses for small parts, lawnmowers, other ATVs, snow blowers. It's really becoming a problem. It's decreasing my property value. I have no intentions to move, but no one's going to want to buy a house next to a junkyard. It's just not fair. It's not fair to the other neighbors. I have actually 3 complaint forms to turn in tonight from 3 different families regarding this incident. And I'm sure if I went door to door, there'd be a few more. I don't want to completely antagonize the family, but it's getting to the point where you can't talk with them. They are not rational about it. And it's really impacting my quality of life. I shouldn't have had to put in French drains. I have been living there since 1986. I didn't need French drains until he decided to regrade the property so that the rainwater won't go into the creek. That property he's also working on, from my understanding, is protected wetlands, and he's operating an automotive business. That can't be good for the environment. That stream runs directly into Round Lake, and that Round Lake goes into the Ramapo, which is a drinking source for New Jersey. So, I don't know what else to do. The inspector will come out. I'm sure he'll get citations. He'll get 30 days to repair it. He will do the minimum amount to get by, and then it just starts all over again. So I'm kind of at a loss. I really don't know what to do.
Does the person there, do they own the house or are they renters?
They own it.
Okay. And how long have they been there for?
I'm going to say at least 25 years. They've been long-term people. The kids grew up there. It's the son who primarily does the automotive work, but the father helps. So
Only one family living in there?
just one family.
Okay.
I know there's at least one vehicle that's not tagged, but the others, I think, do have license plates. But I can't believe that all those cars belong to him. I can't prove one way or the other.
They rotate, or is it, I mean, is it different cars,
They
like?
kind of come and go.
Like a service
There's some that
station?
are there for a while, and then
Yeah.
others that come and go. So, you know, it's just, I should be able to sit in my backyard and not listen to revving engines and not have to look at tires and pieces of chopped up not motorcycles, lawn mowers and all sorts of little devices.
What about the ATVs? Do they change as well, or are they?
They move, and there's another one will come.
Okay,
He sells them.
right.
So
Those his signs on the telephone poles saying, "We buy ATVs"?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's hard to try and pin him down exactly which one, but I don't think that's him. I think
On
that's someone else.
Craigslist, right?
He's on Craigslist, yeah. I know that currently there's 2 on there that I can positively say are on his property. The others I'm not really sure about, but there are 2 that, when I looked today, that are definitely there. He's got vehicles covered with tarps. I'm frustrated, and that's...
I was out there about a year ago, maybe more, it was probably before COVID, so it has to be more than a year ago. To survey the situation, I'd spoken to Ben. Ben, I guess, addressed it as best he could at that time, but Maureen is correct. The issue gets resolved, and then it's back again, and I think this is the 3rd go-around I've been out there with, and each time it comes back again, it gets worse.
My first complaint for this problem was in 2016. My
Right.
first complaint against the family was when Sandy Leonard was here, so that gives you an idea of how far back. But for repair and, the chop shop, it's been since 2016, which is 5 years. I think 5 years is enough.
Oh, I know Vinnie's here. Vinnie, did you want to speak as well?
Oh,
Oh, those are complaints? All right, I'll take them. Val, can you just make copy?
Okay, sorry.
State your name?
Yes, just for the record, my name is Vincent Azaro, and I live next door to Maureen Cassard. I just want to add on to what she was saying earlier, especially on the fact that once the citations were given out and he appeased, or he conformed, that it had gotten worse after that. My feeling is that he tried to usurp, or he tried to flaunt the system by putting up a temporary party tent, all sides enclosed, to try and hide what he was doing inside. And that that was up for about 2 years. This past winter did in the roof of the enclosure. The pictures you see, you'll see where it's caved in. As of last week, he even added another square canopy in front of his garage. Guess the weather's getting a little warmer. He wants to do some work outside. Again, he just wants to do what he wants to do. Like you've seen the pictures. From my view, I've seen tires. He even has an enclosed trailer, like what you would see landscapers have. I don't know what's in that trailer, but he has 3 open-end trailers, trailer hitches, for a wife, a husband, and a son. I don't know why they would need 3 trailers. But yeah, it's, and like was said before, all hours of the day, even at night, especially during the winter time, they would do work. And that's pretty much all I wanted to add on to that.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Appreciate it. All right. Possibly be had in. All right, thank you. The board will address your concerns, and I will get back to you in the next couple of days. Thank you very much for coming down. Appreciate it.
Supervisor, just to clarify, were these complaints delivered to the code enforcement, or is this being submitted tonight for the first time?
Oh, I'll pass it.
Okay, I just want to make sure they get
Yeah.
to Ben.
Yep.
Thank you very much, folks. Thanks for coming down. We'll do our best to help you out with that.
All right, good night now. Okay. Next item is the Conservation Advisory Council appointment. The board has asked that we discuss and approve the appointment of Town of Monroe resident Jack Medina to the Conservation Advisory Council, slot number 2, term expiration of 12/31/2022.
I'll make that motion.
Colon, second.
Colon, second. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Colon, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Stankerello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Town signage. So up on Seven Springs, I spoke with our Highway Superintendent, John Cherney, and council on this, and we have essentially came to the wording that the signage will say no dumping, violators subject to up to $10,000 fine, and that's in Town Code 28-7 and 28-10 refers to dumping penalties for those offenses. So I'd like to make a motion to approve that and have our highway superintendent order the signs.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Colon, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Stankerello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. Next up is the discussion on the agreement of the Monroe Volunteer Ambulance Corps agreement, which is for the year 2021. The agreement is the same as last year. The only items that will be changed would be the dollar amounts that are in there, and those dollar amounts have already been determined by our budget, and those will be replaced by the amount in the 2021 budget. So I'd like to get approval well, somebody else has got to do it because I have to sign it.
All right, I'll make that motion for the approval of the agreement with the volunteer ambulance.
I'll second it with the caveat that upon review and approval of the town attorney.
That sounds good. I agree.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Colon, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Stankerello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Okay, so I have 3 items that in the last couple of days have come before us. The first one is, and I emailed everyone yesterday, so we have someone who has stepped up to become part of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I reached out to Mike Murphy, the chairman, last night. He said if we could fast track it and get her on the agenda for tomorrow, it would be really helpful to him because he's down to 4 members. They need 5. If 1 member is absent, they get down to 3. And if 2 members are absent, they basically cannot have a meeting where they'll be able to vote on any items that come before them. So her name is Marcy Daniel. She is a vice president of operations in Livingston, New York for Barnabas Health at St. Barnabas Medical Center. I have known her for close to 2 years. She is a wonderful woman. She's a very respectful person, has a great husband in Rick and her son, Tyler, is an exemplary young man who I have had interactions with through coaching in Pop Warner. He's the type of boy that when he makes a mistake, he owns up to it. And I think that, I say that because I think that comes from the parenting. That said, I would like to make a motion to appoint Marcy Daniel, who lives in the town of Monroe, obviously, on Cash Court, to slot number 5 on the ZBA with an expiration term of 12/31/22. She is actually filling in the prior person's resignation from that slot. So,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilman Colon. I mean Councilman Scancarello, sorry. Sorry. No, yeah, he said it. Yeah, he said it. I'm looking at him and I'm thinking of you, you know? Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. The next item that comes before us is a resolution from the floor, which basically, I'll read the recommended resolution. The town board hereby authorizes the town's legal counsel, Ferrick Nugent McCartney, PLLC, to institute necessary legal proceedings to address code violations and related work occurring in violation of town code provisions on Lansing Court in the town. I think we should discuss the particulars of that in executive session. Okay, so I'll make that motion.
Cologne, a second.
Colon, a second. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Next up, so this relates to the bonding that we have discussed with Orange and Rockland, and the short resolution regarding utility bonds goes as follows. Whereas in order to make the bond process more efficient for road openings and related work by utilities and related entities working in the town on a regular basis by avoiding the necessity of a bond being posted for each event, the town board desires to arrange for floating bonds which will cover all work on an annual basis. Be it resolved that the town board authorizes town supervisor in consultation with town highway superintendent and town legal counsel to arrange for a floating bond amount of $100,000 for utilities and entities that regularly conduct work in the town of Monroe, which shall be renewed annually and acceptable in form to town legal counsel. This resolution shall be effective immediately. So we need a motion and a second on that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McGinn. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Okay, as we go on to old business, we want to table assessor's office car lease. That was an error on my part in not omitting that because we said we were going to wait till you got the information regarding the electric and the grant, right?
Right, that's the additional
Yeah.
installation.
Yep, okay. I'll make a motion to table that.
Second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. Next up is the NDC contract with Councilman McGinn. Did you want to?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we table that to the next meeting as well.
Okay. I'll second it. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Next up is Badger water meter reading software. So we have to upgrade our current software for our water districts. We had a presentation the other day. Myself, three members from the highway department, three of which are all involved with water, were present. Helen was there, Roberta was there, Mary was supposed to be there via Facebook. Unfortunately, she got tied up at work with a patient and couldn't check in. So the presentation was given by Schmidt's Wholesale. And what it basically comes down to is we can go with two types of meter reading. We can go with cellular, and we can go with the mobile type where a representative from the town would drive around, read the meters that way with a modem and transceiver in the car.
That's how it's currently.
And that's how it's currently done in most, probably about 85, 90% of it? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to integrate the cellular method of doing that, because the advantages to that are the resident can essentially then go on a website, download their water usage, and it will lay it out in an hourly form on a particular day. So it's extremely detailed. Both Tommy, Pete, and Bob felt that was the best way to go. Those meter adapters are approximately $20 more than if you went the other way with the mobile unit traveling around. The heads that have to be added to those. After some discussion, there was talk, and I did explain this to Mary on Friday, there was some talk about installing, wait, I'm losing my train of thought here. So there was talk about doing it the cellular way, and when we have to install the meters, like in Water District 14, every meter's got to be installed there, and the adapters on top. So we talked about working in conjunction with a contractor where the water department would install some meters and some areas we would contract out. This way, everything would be completed in a more orderly and efficient manner. For example, if they go out and they're in a specific area and they're looking to get in a home and they can't get in that home, or they do get in that home and they realize that a shutoff isn't in that home. Now, a shutoff's got to be put in before you can put the meter in. Hiring a contractor for areas like that is probably the best way to go. And I think it will not only save us time, it will also completed. So,
Plus, it keeps our personnel available for
exactly.
water main breaks and pump house issues.
Take your tongue.
Yeah, basically keeps them available for District 12, exactly.
Yeah.
You got plenty it up.
So essentially what we're looking at is, let's make sure I got the right quote here. The 2-day on-site training is $5,050, and the cost for the meters, the integration, which is a one-time fee, is $1,620, and the engagement fee, which is required, is $3,000. So that those two items total $9,670, and then there's an encoder reader which goes on the top of the meter, which is $82.46 each, and the cellular transmitter is $145.74 each. So if the water department got into the house and had to install the two items, and then there's another little attachment that goes on the outside of the house for reading it, for the cellular transmitting, looking at quick, but a lot of time.
Are talking about hundreds of meters that have to be done, right? So it's going to take a while.
534 we have, or 64 in our water district. Now, some of the problems that they would run into is the meters are supposed to be installed this way so that the cellular reader goes on top here because if this was a reader, the spread on it goes this way. Some of the meters are already installed this way, so if you put the cellular part onto it, you're losing about 50% of the reading. So
There's got to be
that might, yeah, that might have to be changed, but Tommy and Pete felt that at least, three-quarters of them to 85% were already in the right position. So, so that's where we're at with that. So I would like the approval to move forward on this. I did reach out to a company called Neptune, and in order to retrofit everything, I didn't even want to get involved in it.
Usually when you start with one meter company, you're
Yeah.
married to them for life.
Yeah, because the village, and Dory is here, they use Neptune. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with Neptune, but it would just have been too much bigger of a project for us.
The conversion, yeah.
Yeah, for the conversion of everything. So that's where we're at. So,
And then the other thing is, there was no grants available for this. So this is going to have to all be paid by the users, the districts. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But we will still look into that, right, Rick?
I spoke with Caleb today about that. Oh, you have a...
My mic's lit up. No, I know, we had it last week.
I have another meeting with him.
Yeah, all right. So that's it. So I'd like approval for the $5,050 and the $4620 software training and the one-time fees. So I would like Mary to make the motion, since she's the water queen. She's the water queen.
I will make a motion for $5,050 plus $4,620 for the new Badger system.
I'll second it. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Anchorello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so move.
Tony, could I just bring up one thing? Sure. Surplus, I got a surplus item for the board's approval.
Okay.
1965 Lee Boy paver. I will get...
That thing was from 1965?
I believe it's a 65, yes. I will get all the proper information to Mary Ellen tomorrow, but I'd like to get this on Auctions International as soon as we possibly can. You know what, I bet a couple grand.
Yeah, you get it probably for scrap, even for scrap, right?
It still runs, and it still, we'll put down some blacktop for somebody, so.
Yeah.
The new paver, we actually was trained on that today, and we did run some blacktop out of that, so that worked out very well.
You're going out tomorrow, right?
What's that?
Are you going out tomorrow?
No, we blacktop today in front of Dial-A-Bus.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, we got a couple other spots.
Are you going to Williams tomorrow?
Williams Court tomorrow,
That's what I spoke to George earlier.
Oh, okay, good, yeah.
On a different item, and he mentioned that,
Yep.
so. No, Williams Court.
I thought I don't.
No.
It's a long way.
Yeah,
I was down there this weekend, no?
Good for you.
All right, what's that? Okay, so that's it.
Make a motion to put that on surplus?
Yep,
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Cologne, a second.
call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Anchorello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. Public comment.
Ward Brower.
Ward Brower, private citizen, with a new chair. See, Ward, we did not forget you this evening.
He noticed it right away, too.
He did?
Oh, yeah.
I was actually going to put a sign on it, but I saw him walking in. I didn't have time to make it.
He noticed it right away.
Ward Brower, private citizen. Tony, as soon as I walked in the door, I saw that seat. I didn't realize it was a hot seat because George came over the microphone. Get out of the zone. What I have is, if we can go back to your department, the composting facilities, when they tie their brush together, in the past, we've requested they do biodegradable string, because when you try to decompose it, that plastic stuff stays in there and it messes up the whole operation.
The twine that will
Yeah.
basically fall apart. I'd prefer them not to be bundled,
But the people do it, they had
but
the,
they do it, and then we get through it. But, yeah, anything, nothing nylon.
I've seen that in the past. Okay, and then, I want to thank Sal. Gave us a present vest for the Conservation Commission. Now we can be seen and not heard.
Yes.
Good for you, Ward.
Thank you, guys. And want to thank the board for appointing a new member. We're a little shy on the membership, and hopefully the vest will keep them alive. People, as they commented last time, they get engrossed in these projects and they wander out in traffic. I say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Guys, get on the shoulder road. You know, it becomes a very close-knit society, and they think they're in the backyard having a barbecue or something. I said, no, this is a hot zone. This is a highway. This is live ammunition coming at us in 2-ton cars. And pretty much that's about it. Thanks again for the support.
No problem, anytime.
Thank you,
Thank
Ward.
you, Ward.
Thank you, Ward.
Okay, anybody have any other business before we go into executive session? No? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matter as well as legal. Litigation, sorry.
Cologne, second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. You coming in, right?
Oh.
Stole the mic? Ward!
Oh, I was going to reach back out to the D.
Ward stole the mic? Yeah.
All right, yeah. All right, I'll make a motion to come out of executive session back to the regularly scheduled town board meeting for April 19th.
Second.
Second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. After some discussion, there was talk of a water, some needs for the water department, and I'll defer to Councilwoman Bingham to present the resolution.
Right, so we would like to assign additional water duties to Tom Raby with the stipend to be determined after the supervisor speaks with the union.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. Any other?
Yes, I'd like to make another motion for a 6-month laborer to be hired from June 1 to December 31st. Yes, at $19 an hour, with authorization for the highway superintendent to place an ad as well.
Okay.
Cologne, second.
Just a little discussion. John, would you have any opposition if when we hire him during that time period, if there's a need for him to possibly, mow a lawn or something with maintenance? Do you have a problem?
I would not have a problem with that.
Okay.
As long as Webster...
It's not going to be on a regular
I know,
basis.
but
It's just when we get
Webster
that.
schedules it with me, or
Yeah,
you? That's fine.
real crazy time.
Yeah,
Where everything's growing at once. So.
All good, yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Gary, can you just repeat your motion?
To hire a new 6-month temporary laborer at $19 an hour, starting June 1st through December 31st. Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay.
One more.
I thought you're a good ventriloquist, man.
We have one more, yes. We did lose an employee. Employee left us, and we're looking to replace him.
Okay.
You have to put an ad in the paper.
We have to do that with, Jen is going to call?
No, that's basically, no, that was the other.
I wanted to
item.
put the ad
You
in
just
the-
want to put it in, you just
Oh, you
want
just wanna put it in.
authorization to
Authorization
advertise for the
to-
position of HEO1,
HEO1 preferably.
yes,
Okay.
with water.
With preferred water license if possible.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to authorize the Highway Department to advertise for an HEO1 position with a preferred water license designation at the current union HEO1 rates, which I'm not positive of.
I'll second.
Call the question?
Hingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Hello, aye.
Good.
Okay.
Ads will be placed shortly. Thank you.
All right, good. All good?
All
If there's
good.
no further business, I'll make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
Second by Councilman Scancarello. Call the question.
Hingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Oh, aye.
So moved. Thank you very much.
Good night, Monroe.
Have a good night.